Welcome back to NFL Wildcard Weekend. This is our Saturday two-game slate breakdown. We're going to go through, give you our favorite plays at each position. It is a two-game slate, meaning that the most important thing is finding leverage, finding unique roster constructions that will keep you less duplicated so you can have a shot at the top prizes. Typically not a good week to play cash games, just play tournaments or probably don't play. So yeah, we have $1 million to first, just like on a normal 13-game Sunday slate. I love these short slates. You can take some big stands, and I think that's how you play these slates. You don't, if you just play everyone, you're not going to get leverage on the field. You got to completely fade guys. You got to go all in on guys, and burn me last slate. If I would have gone all in on Najee instead of Warren, would have won first, but I had the exact lineup, but I had Warren instead of Najee, and cost me.
Yeah.
We built.
We built the
we
winner.
built the winner pretty much on our show. And then we didn't enter any lineups, but it was almost the exact lineup that won. I think again minus instead of Warren, put Najee in there. But anyway, yeah, let's go through here and talk through some of our favorite plays, and then we'll build a few lineups with different quarterbacks. We do have a Browns fan on this show, so we might have a little bit of bias, but he'll have some insight on the Browns at least. So
when it comes to money, you can't be biased, which is why Joe Flacco is obviously the quarterback of the week.
you know what? He Joe Flacco to Amari Cooper and Njoku will be the chalk stack of the week. It is 2023. Yeah. We have Mahomes at 7,100, only 1,000 more, and Tua at 7K. And Joe Flacco in 2023 will be the chalk quarterback.
Yeah.
You have to say it like a lot of times for it to like make any sense, and it never will.
Well,
and
the guy throws the ball like 40 plus. He throws it 40 plus times a game. So, I mean, if the Chiefs game was being played in Miami and like it was a bright and sunny day, like I don't think he would be the chalk. But given the terrible weather situation, they're not going to be able to throw the ball very much in Kansas City, or at least hit their ceilings. Opposed to like Joe Flacco in a dome, right? So it's just kind of situational football here.
It's not wrong. I mean, you got to have interest in Joe Flacco, I think. I think if you wanted to fade CJ Stroud, I totally would agree with you there.
Fade both.
Because you can't. I mean, you can. You definitely can. It's 2-game slate. I'm just saying what Flacco allows you to get to. This isn't like last Saturday where you could basically spend whatever. This week you can't because there's so many expensive plays this time.
There's actually not that many. It's Tyreek pretty much.
Well, and then you got I guess so.
You got to make some choices.
Yeah. You have to make a little bit more choices, but it's a pretty much because the wide receiver tier is really wild this week. It's the top 5: Tyreek, Nico, Amari, Bryce, Waddle, and then it's just a drop off all the way to Elijah Moore at 4K. So it's a really weird slate dynamic where people are going to get 1, 2 of the expensive guys and then find their favorite punt.
My
none of the running backs are expensive.
My pool is going to be Mahomes and Flacco. I think that's where I'm going to sit and say I don't. After watching last week, I just don't think Tua is. I think they're so hurt and so banged up, and they're going into this cold weather game. I think
Corey, don't let this be the week. You've been playing Tua all year, and I know you've been burned by him countless times where they were not even in didn't you play him against the Ravens?
Yeah, I played him when he was sub 1%.
Okay. This is going to be a 2-game slate, and Tua might be the lowest owned of the 4. And you're going to now fade him?
It's looking like that right now. It's initial first looks.
I see. To me, quarterback leverage, to me, it's Flacco. I mean, typically on a slate, like we'll go through and quarterback. I kind of like in the order of ownership, running back, similar. Receiver is where I usually take my biggest stands. But starting off, like Mahomes will probably be the second highest owned, but Mahomes is for sure my favorite, and Tua will be my best like complete leverage quarterback, and I'm fading Stroud and Flacco probably completely.
I just think that you can get to his points through his receiving options. And then you can just Flacco could just I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
know it's not
it's
$900
we're
different.
talking about Joe Flacco.
And he throws the ball so many times.
Yeah, but you know what? That
You-
means we'll get to defense. That presents a lot of opportunity for Texan defense here.
I don't.
That's fine, but he has outscored Patrick Mahomes every single week since Joe Flacco came back. Flacco has outscored Mahomes.
Yeah, now we're in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, against the Texans, who aren't a great defense.
And then you get Mahomes in a snowball. Like it just,
It's not. I
I'm
don't
just
think it's a
playing the
snow
numbers
bowl. It's a
here.
low weather. It's a cold game. I think is what.
Very
it is.
cold. It's going to snow.
I mean, he
Midwest
put up
is
20. He put up.
getting hit.
He basically put up 30 points last time against the Texans, and that was without CJ Stroud pushing. So like,
But yeah, but that there was no pushing that game. It didn't matter what was pushing him. He was throwing the ball all game long.
That's
I
all he
still think
does.
Pushed or not.
I still think that's going to be the game script of him throwing the ball.
Yeah, he's going to throw the ball a ton, and I just don't think he's looked good so far. But we've had these stretches of quarterbacks that have come out. They can have these stretches and then they flop. And I think this is a prime spot in an away game that he comes out, falls short, and you have an opportunity to play Patrick Mahomes.
I said I was going to play Mahomes.
No. I'm saying, but like you're gonna like, let's say, what percentage do you think you're playing of like Mahomes and Flacco? Like if you had to divide it up.
Probably like 65-35.
Yeah, so I'm just taking that extra 35 where you're taking Flacco, and if Mahomes outscores Flacco, then I have 35% more lineups that are going to have a million different combinations of that. And that's again, I take big stands on 2 game slates that not everyone plays that way. I don't know.
I play that way. I'm just taking a much different stance than you.
So you're just going all in on Flacco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of us here is probably, unless Stroud goes off, I guess one of us is having a good day because you.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be a lot more inclined to take Stroud if like Tank Dell, Noah Brown,
Yeah. But
and Robert Woods were there, but he's missing 3 out of his top 4 wide receivers. The Browns secondary is really good. The cornerbacks are tremendous. Like we have the best cornerbacks in the league, like as a unit.
Grant Delpit's coming back, right?
Is he? I thought he was done for
thought
the
he was
year.
activated today.
Oh, I guess maybe his injury wasn't as bad as I thought he had a season-ending injury.
Oh, I thought I saw him activated today.
That's great. I mean, Ronnie Hickman, rookie out of Ohio State, stepped in and he's played just as well as Pittman, which, was kind of a blessing in disguise. We found kind of a gem from our bench who will be a good rotation guy for us moving forward. So I was excited to see him step in and have some success. He had a couple interceptions, so he's looking good too.
Like I would probably have a little Flacco if like Mahomes was the highest owned quarterback, and if it was like Mahomes to Flacco, then Stroud, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get some Flacco exposure. He's not going to be but I am not playing into Flacco chalk, and I'll
No, I
take
get it.
as much leverage as I want on Mahomes to
Yeah, it makes a lot of your other picks a lot harder because you got to be right, which is fine.
Well, when you play
rough.
Mahomes, you're almost always, you can play the Rice Kelsey, but like on a 2 game slate, you're taking shots at all the 3K guys. So you're just like, that's why I really want to go heavy on Mahomes is I want to mix and match the Richie James, the MVSs. We'll get into receiver, but I want to have a bunch of different combinations with the Chiefs guys that no one wants to play.
Yeah.
Okay, running back.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty gross.
Yep, it's very gross.
It's not fun at all.
Singletary and Pacheco, I'm assuming will be the highest owned. A Chain, as long as he's he's gonna play, he's the guy that always ends up getting higher owned than Mostert. So if they're both active, just know Mostert's gonna be really under owned. People just love playing Achan, so he'll be modestly owned, but Pacheco and Singletary are gonna be like the go-to guys. So what do you guys
Yeah.
think like about the order of ownership? Like this is just from playing past slates, like the order of ownership is probably gonna be Singletary, Pacheco, really close, Achan, Ford, Mostert, Hunt. That'll be the order that like people play everyone.
Yeah, I said in our bet show, Jerome Ford's not JT, but if the Browns can run the ball anywhere close to what the Colts were able to do against Texans,
I mean, he had 1 yard attempt the last time they played. Or
yeah,
sorry, like 1.2 yards, 15 rush attempts for 25 yards.
yeah,
Like Texans run D is very good.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I think running back might be a place where I play like a Pacheco or a Singletary, and then I try to get different. Like I might
So you would just
that
so
might
you're
be my
eating the
leverage
chalk at
spot.
Flacco and running back. So that means receiver you're gonna get different.
But I think for my second RB spot, I think I might try to get different. That might be somewhere I try to get a little crafty.
in your second running back spot.
Thinking maybe
I
Kareem
thought you said
Hunt.
you're gonna
I'm
play
thinking maybe like
Pacheco and Singletary.
no.
Oh,
One of the two.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
okay.
for RB2, play like a Kareem Hunt or
Mostert or something.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think I
you
want one of the Miami backs on.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
think that's going to
definitely.
be my favorite, like leverage spot. I do think like I'll probably end up having like one of Pacheco, Singletary on a lot of teams, but
My
A
problem is I
chain
feel
most.
like Andy Reid in the playoffs seems to always shut down the run. Like Chris Jones is so good.
They have,
Even
but
with
the
that
way
makes me
this,
like Moster less, but I think I like A
yeah, A
chain
chain I like a lot,
a little bit more.
and if he's
and
the
then
healthy other two, you could take
A
one
chain.
play for you could take one play for Mostert to get re-injured. I'm not saying a chain is just as healthy. He's also banged up, but he gets. I feel like he just gets. I don't know. They're like one and the same, but different. Same but different. They just I don't know. I
I
hope
think A chain like is a little bit more gadget type of
Yeah,
player.
he'll be used in that pass game. I think a
Yeah,
lot,
Moster plays maybe more of a pure runner. Like if you had to divide the two.
and especially if Waddle plays, like the defense is going to have to account for Tyreek and Waddle so much that it's hard to like really just focus everywhere, and so it's going to open up a lot. I think so.
one
He's
thing to be
not.
interesting to look at is how are the Chiefs linebackers at covering running backs? Like, I'd like to see that stat, um, because they use so much motion and like moving those linebackers around would definitely just benefit if they're, especially if Waddle's in for the running backs out of the backfield a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I like it a lot there. But there's I would say Mostert's probably like your number one like tournament leverage play. You're gonna get the lowest ownership on him. Obviously, he has multi-touchdown upside. We've seen it like all year. So, you
Yeah.
know,
And I
but
think the Chiefs also have pretty good corners and L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. Like Trent McDuffie, I think is a top 10 corner according to PFF this year.
Waddle and Tyreek to me are matchup proof. I don't really care
Not
about.
Watt. I don't think Waddle is, but I think Tyreek.
I
I
think
agree with
Waddle's
you there.
matchup proof.
I
Those
mean,
guys are good.
he kind of proved that in the Jets game where he was the only guy out there and he torched them.
That's true.
All right, receiver. Um, got Tyreek at 8,700, the cheapest he's been, I think, all year, and he's returning to Kansas City. I, I mean, probably the favorite play of the slate. I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how you
He's
don't play
going to be
Tyreek,
hard not to put in there. I love
but
Amari
but the
Cooper.
thing is, I think he's gonna. So like, I'm just trying to build out like a lineup like I'm gonna quickly just do this. Is there a way for me to share my screen, or are you
At the
able to share
bottom.
your screen?
No,
Yeah.
you have to do it.
I have to do it. Okay, hold on a second. Let me pull up DraftKings so I can build a lineup.
But yeah, yeah, Tyreek Hill is definitely the favorite play. I mean, I'm going to go full fade Nico Collins. I think that's just
Can you
we've
see
already
my screen?
established. No.
No.
It's hard to full fade him. Like he obviously has a terrible matchup, and I think he'll get shut down, but that is either going to really open up Schultz or he's still going to get like 10 targets and like 70 yards and maybe a touchdown.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So the chalk build, you're gonna have Flacco. I don't know. Chiefs maybe. I'm just gonna throw in a defense. What are the running backs? Pacheco, Singletary. Where's Amari? So this is gonna be the base build for most lineups. You're gonna have Flacco with Pacheco and Singletary, Amari, Njoku, and I would assume the Chiefs because people typically, I think some people will think that playing like Texans defense against it is going to be creative on the slate. And I think that's going to be like the most popular way people try to get different, but it won't be different at all. I'd rather so. Then you have 5,500 remaining. If you put Tyreek in, why did I put him in the flex? Oh, if you put Tyreek in, you have 3,900. So I mean, are people going to be comfortable with going to like playing a triple stack with Elijah Moore? Probably not. They're going to see Tillman. So I think then they're going to come off of Tyreek. I think Waddle, if he plays, Waddle always ends up like higher owned than people think, or they'll play Rice to get the Chiefs exposure. And then like maybe Waddle and then one cheap guy. The reason why I think Tyreek could go under owned is like how else are people building to get to Tyreek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Because you
agree.
can't really pay. There's not really like running backs down. Like people aren't gonna really go to play like Singletary and Hunt. Like that won't be popular. So just the base building, Tyreek is somehow gonna go under owned because it's like pretty hard to play him. And it's crazy to me because that's what makes me think Amari to me is the worst play of the slate.
Just because he fits the build within the chalk.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna have basically this is gonna be the chalk, right? And then you're gonna have people rotating these three pieces of receiver flex, and so Tyreek's gonna go under owned to what I think. Like to me, Tyreek should be like on one of the like on a 2 game slate. Remember that slate? He was in the 9K ish range, and he was like 70, like 90% owned or something. Do you remember
When
that
was it?
slate?
When was this?
It's one the game he got injured actually. It was he was like 90% owned and he ended up getting injured and he might have like
Oh, the
come back.
Titans game?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah.
Or some, but I just know like even if he's 50%, I think that's crazy under owned to me. And I feel like that's what he'll end up being around because I mean, even if people would go to like Nico, maybe they do try to do or maybe one of these Texans guys because they're all wide receiver twos. So like John Mechie or Xavier Hutchinson gets a little popular but I don't know. I just think to me, Amari is like the worst play of the slate. He's going to be the highest owned receiver. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess he went for what, 55 points the last time they played.
Yeah, he did.
So that is why he'll be popular. But again, we've seen it countless times. Like no one played Pickens like all year. Then he's like the most expensive he ever was, and Deontay was cheaper. And then Pickens goes out, and we were on Deontay, and Pickens goes out and pulls a zero. and Deontay has a 70-yard touchdown. Like, and now Amari, most expensive he's been all year long. Nico, the most expensive. I think Nico and Amari, I think Nico might be a slightly better play just because there's no one else really. Like Stroud's gonna have to pepper him, but like Flacco can go to like my like when you play a team like twice in a few weeks, I feel like they're gonna really focus on like not letting Amari have a big game. And I don't know, he can throw to Elijah Moore, he could throw it in
Yeah.
Joku.
I mean, this is the game he put up 50 something fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, 200
Yeah.
something yards. So, I mean, you were even saying that last week. It's like anytime a player completely destroys another team, like the next matchup, they just completely game plan him out and limit him. So I like that call. I think Njoku and Elijah Moore then become extremely valuable under that narrative.
Yeah, and the Texans, that's one thing. They've been bad against tight ends all year. Njoku didn't have like a big game against, he
Yeah.
had 6 for 44 and a touchdown. It was so like I still think Njoku's a fine play. Elijah Moore, I think, is fine. Like he's value. I think he's really good. He's some good leverage off of Amari. But yeah, to me, Amari is the flat out worst play of the slate. Um, all right, now we have to talk about. Should I just keep it on the screen
Yeah,
share?
we didn't go into dumpster bin.
Oh yeah, we gotta go. So Tyreek, I think's good. Um, I don't know. I like Kelsey a little more than Rice. Do they use Rice like in motion? Because like I mean, he could end up seeing
I don't think he
Ramsey a lot,
does. I don't think he
but then
motions
he'll
them.
probably be on Ramsey the whole game.
Yeah.
PFF has him on Ramsey half the game and Kohu like the other half.
Well, because Ramsey plays one side of the field, but
Yeah.
sometimes, like last week, he was
He's
like
shadowed.
shadowing Diggs, but then anytime Diggs went in motion, which was a lot, he was off of him. So that's why I was wondering if they used Rice in motion. Waddle, I like if he plays. Noah Brown's, I don't know, probably out. I like Elijah Moore. I like Cedric Wilson a bit. Just anything with Tua or Mahomes. I mean, who do you guys like in this? Like someone in this range, I probably on the winner. Last week it was Aguilar. That was a guy that we called out and had the incentives. They were
Yeah.
gonna, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you got, the number 2 receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, who we don't even know who that is.
yeah. That's
It's
probably
just
who it is in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
no, I think it is. And I think it's like you said earlier, I think MVS, I think
I'm just
McCole
gonna put them all
Hardman,
in.
I think I don't like Justin Watson as much. Um, but I mean, Tony's up there. I mean, it's just like who do they trust? I mean, Tony and MVS have screwed them multiple different times this year. McCold Harmon, they traded back to him. Like I want to say McCole Hardman just because he's been there in the playoffs with Mahomes. Um,
Yeah, he's my favorite.
yeah, I think he has that connection with them. I think he was hurt for a little bit. Now he's back. I think he's just the type of player that is going to be kind of a safety net um, behind Kelsey. I think he really is.
Yeah, I mean Watson's gonna be involved. Like he's a go-to, but um, McCall Hardman is someone that I do think down the stretch, like he's been in the playoffs with Mahomes. He's just a reliable. He went out with Blaine Gabbert and had 11 targets. And I don't know, I could see Mahomes just being like, all right, this is a guy we've had some success in the past, and he's gonna go to him a bit more. Now that it's crunch time, like he's just gonna have to like have his go-to guys. And I think Justin Watson's probably on that list. MVS, I don't know. I feel like he's lost a lot of his trust.
Oh, so much. I think
Yeah, he's really disappeared for me. I would rather play a Hardman or a Tony. I'd rather even play Tony over MVS at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if Tony plays like he has been just dealing with this. I mean, he's always dealing with some type of injury, but yeah, when he's out there, like they're always gonna like try to get him the ball. They get creative with him. So yeah, I mean, with me playing Mahomes, I'm going to mix and match like all of these guys. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else worth shouting out.
I mean,
I guess Richie James is a guy too. that you have
Mechie and
to-
Hutchinson absolutely did nothing last week in the same exact scenario where they'll be in this week. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well, Mechie was also a little more on Kenny Moore. Who's the slot corner for Cleveland?
Usually like Greg Newsome or Emerson.
Yeah, so
Emerson's
like
been playing more outside, but
Xavier Hutchinson and Mechie will be going against this Browns
they
defense.
also kind of pull safeties up sometimes.
I mean, I would play Hutchinson before I played Mechie, but
yeah, I don't think that, I mean Braxton Berrios, but I mean
yeah,
that's
I mean Claypool maybe as a flyer, like he does get randomly some, like his targets are like I guess what you consider like valuable for a 2 game slate. So I'll
but not even
probably
though. I mean he's
yeah
3,000. Cole Harmon's 31.
yeah I'm just saying like if I had a 2-0 lineup and I was playing like a two, like a over Tua stack or something, but I'm gonna probably have like 1% of him, and other than that, I don't think there's anyone.
Yeah. All right, let's look at tight end and then let's get into some lineups here.
All right, so we got Kelsey, who is my absolute favorite on the slate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
he's now 500 more than David Njoku, and still, I believe David Njoku will be the chalkiest tight end. I don't think Njoku's bad chalk on this slate. Um, So I'll probably have some with both of them, just because like there's no also mid tier like I think you can on a 2 game slate you can play like double tight end, like that's completely fine. Um, so Kelsey and Njoku pairing, I don't like Schultz much at all.
I mean, someone's gonna have to catch balls somewhere for
Yeah.
the
The
Texans.
only reason I would like Schultz is for pure volume, but it's such a bad matchup.
If he's getting 11 targets again, I mean, I'm gonna have interest.
Yeah, he had
So
11 last time they played. But again, I mean, it took him. I mean, he scored 14 fantasy, which would be good enough on a 2 game slate, but he needed 11 targets to score to get 61 yards. Like they're just very good at defending the tight end.
yeah, and then where it gets interesting is I don't know Smythe, no
No,
interest.
I'll play some Smythe. I mean, he with Tua with them banged up, like it's just opened up some more target share for him. Like, I mean, he's look at that. I mean, that's doable there for 3K. Like you could even use him as like a 3K option in the flex. So like you have Kelsey and then Durham Smythe as your 3K guy. And if Smythe like outscored some of those punt receivers, you know,
Yeah.
he would be in the winner. A little
Um,
interesting Gray just
yeah, I
because
was
I'm
just about to
playing,
say.
but I won't. I would probably I wouldn't play Gray and Kelsey together probably, but
Probably not.
and then Harrison Bryant's the only other guy I'll have like 1% of.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
it
don't
pretty much. What do you
I don't
think?
know. I don't know how I feel about like tight ends at all.
Who?
And
Cleveland?
last week, like Brevin Jordan didn't see the field at all. And it was all like
Schultz.
Schultz, but there was another guy who caught a touchdown. I don't
Yeah,
even remember
Saubert.
his name. Saubert, yeah. So like
Or
he
was it
randomly,
Saubert?
No, is their running back? It's their fullback.
Yeah, I forget who. Yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
so like he was randomly mixed in. Um, maybe Harrison Bryant, but like he just doesn't
That's
play
yeah,
a
that's who
ton.
I'm gonna play a little bit just
Akins
as a
like is a
touchdown.
blocking tight end who like randomly will, do one of those fake blocks and run an out route and catch a couple balls here and there. But
He's more correlated with Flacco because the only way he's probably hitting the optimal if he scores a touchdown, and that
right.
obviously boosts. If you're setting rules in an optimizer or something like in any Harrison Bryant lineup, you'd probably boost Flacco by like 30% or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's build a few lineups. So we'll start with your Flacco lineup, Nick. So how on a Flacco lineup do you want
Yeah.
to get some leverage here?
So how I'm getting different is I'm playing Njoku, Elijah Moore,
Yeah,
double
that's
tight
probably the
end
best way
Travis
to do it.
Kelsey,
What'd you say?
and Elijah Moore, Njoku, and then double tight end Kelsey.
So
And
this is the start.
yeah, some of them will have Kareem Hunt and one of the chalky running backs. Um, and then like I will probably go like a Tyreek, Mecole Hardman.
So yeah, that you would then you can leave some salary even like and play.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably get up from Hunt to even to
Yeah, you could play chalky and then just go
and
flyer
then
on wide receiver,
yeah,
which is
something like
fine
that.
too. But I'll probably have a couple combinations of that base build.
Yeah, I think if you're playing Flacco, that is probably the better
That's
way
going to
to
be
go
my
in
That'll
tournament.
be 100% of my lines. I'm doing Flacco, Njoku, Elijah Moore. Uh, those
Yeah.
three are locked in, and then
Mix and match.
yep,
Yeah, if we're Stroud, we're not even building, so you don't even like he's I just think he's a bad play. Okay, well we'll
Doing
just do a two.
if I'm doing Tua, if I was going to build Tua, I go both Hill and Waddle.
Yeah, I like that call. And then
Running back, you can do Checo.
and then
You almost have to play. Yeah, well then you're getting really jumpsy here. But I mean, Smythe, yeah. So three stack.
yep, triple stack there. Something like that, like variations of that. But yeah, I mean with Tua, it's you're probably gonna getting that Tyreek Waddle double is gonna be pretty like if you were doing like if you put that in like the spy or single entry, I don't know. I think that's a really good lineup. Okay, Mahomes, you're basically kind of doing you're gonna probably have I'm gonna put Kelsey in every Mahomes lineup. Like
Yep.
there's no way I'm not playing Kelsey at 6,100 with a 7,100 Mahomes. It's just no way. And something like that I do with the Singletary, the like I, I don't know. I feel like it's really correlated with that game to do like Singletary Texans or Jerome Ford Browns or something like that. Like I just think on this slate especially, it's wise to do that. And then you're again, I like Tyreek a ton, and then you're this is kind of like I don't know, a similar start to a lot of builds. And then you would rotate in a lot of different like whether it's James, whether like whatever Chiefs receiver, you're probably gonna play one like one of them,
Yep.
and then I
I
don't
mean,
know,
you could even play. Um,
like we'll just
you do. You
we'll
could throw
just
more in here.
yeah like more, and then you have 5,300, so you could play CEH or you could play Hunt like as a pass catching back against Singletary. You could play Dalton Schultz. Uh, you could leave salary and even get another cheap KC guy. Like I don't know. There's
A lot of different options with Mahomes.
yeah. You could come off Chan and then get up to even Waddle, have Tyreek and Waddle on Mahomes' team. A lot of different ways to do it, but that's how I kind of want to play this slate is get a bunch of those variations and fade the Flacco. Um, I think that'll. I don't think was there anything else that we were going to cover on
I don't
this?
think so. I think we ran through it pretty. Defenses, I mean, it really doesn't matter on two games
I
slate.
think Dolphins is probably the one like Sometimes I'll take a stand. Just Dolphins is probably the only defense I won't play, but I'll play Chiefs, Texans, and Browns. I do think one of Browns or Texans will be optimal though. But that will do it. Watch Stroud will be optimal, and this we'll just have to delete this video. That'll do it for wild card. Well, the first part Saturday. Then we'll have our Sunday slate breakdown tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.